Hello and welcome to another episode of the Nothing Ventured Primer. Today with me in the studio I have Andrea Sommer. Andrea is an entrepreneur, advisor and investor who has built 4 businesses in the technology space, including in analytics and event technology, femtech and wearables, as well as HRtech. She is currently co-founder and CEO at Hive Founders, a network for women entrepreneurs, providing education, investment readiness, training, and advisory to a growing community of founders across the globe. She's also co-founder at Womankind Ventures, a dynamic and inclusive global angel investment group with a mission to get more funding to female founders. Andrea, welcome to the studio. It's great to have you here with me today.
Thanks very much.
Awesome. Let's jump straight in. So I'd love for you to share a bit of information about yourself with the audience. So what was your first job?
My first job was working in a consumer research and insights advisory company where I got to do a lot of focus groups.
Consumer insights and advisory. Is that sort of the kind of PR side of, or the marketing side of agency world?
Yes,
is that right?
It was on the marketing side. It was all about helping companies understand what their customers want out of their products.
Which is kind of the core of every single startup ever.
Yeah.
But and also the main reason I would say a lot of them fail.
Yeah.
And what did you do before you founded your first venture?
Before I founded my first venture, I was a consultant. I worked in a joint venture between Accenture and Microsoft, and I worked on growth and optimization initiatives across EMEA. So I'm really passionate about things that make things grow, essentially, and that's what I did.
I mean, those are two behemoths of the kind of corporate world.
Yeah.
Kind of how was the juxtaposition of that and then startups, I guess?
Lots of really good synergies, within Accenture and Microsoft, and I think I learned really good discipline working for big businesses as well. And I think I bring that discipline to my entrepreneurial process as well.
Okay, and so what was it that triggered your move into entrepreneurship?
Well, I was in business school and I came into business school to accelerate my career. And while I was in business school, I did a lot of experimentation. I went to different events, different organizations, and I realized that I loved the controlled chaos of entrepreneurship. And so I started to work really on a part-time basis, kind of on my first venture. I did a technology ventures course within London Business, the only technology ventures course that London Business School offers. Mm-hmm. And we ran a competition. We won first prize. We were invited to participate in the entrepreneurship startup school. And that kind of like very organically brought me into the entrepreneurial world. And I realized that I really found my home in it. So I continued there, and that's where I've been for the last 5 years.
And what do you think you'd be doing if you weren't a founder?
I probably would still be doing strategy consulting because I also really love that.
Yeah.
I love chaos. Controlled chaos is the best way to describe it. So looking at different complex environments and trying to simplify them and solve problems. And that's basically what I like doing. And that's what I do every day.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We had Mariano on the podcast, last year, I think, from memory. And Mariano comes from a strategy background.
Yeah.
He's a little bit older. Mm-hmm. He started his fund sort of over the last couple of years.
Yeah. And,
his thesis is that if you've done consulting for a long time, especially proper strategy consulting, your ability to influence and assist kind of ventures as they grow, as they scale, is second to none, right? And it's a skill that lots of people don't actually have, right?
Yeah, because I think as a consultant, you're an optimizer, right? You're looking for the thing that's not working and you're trying to make it work. And that's pretty much entrepreneurship, right?
That's every startup battle is, okay, what isn't working? How do I fix it? And how do I move on to the next one?
Exactly, yeah. Good training.
So let's talk about Hive Founders then, right? So who is Hive for?
Hive is a network for female founders globally, primarily pre-seed and seed stage business. We're sector agnostic. We work with founders across the world and different countries and different kinds of organizations, anything from real estate all the way to femtech, all the way to AI. So it's really quite a diverse group of women. Yeah,
we're gonna get into it a little bit more in the main podcast, but like ultimately, if you were to think about the ideal founder persona who would join Hive, mm-hmm. Who are they? Why would they want to join Hive?
They're an ambitious entrepreneur who wants to build a big global business, essentially. So our aspiration is to make more venture-backable businesses, create more venture-backable businesses with our training.
Yeah, and I guess that's a really important point, right? Because I think, certainly myself, I come across a lot of businesses, whether female founded or not, mm-hmm. where there's definitely the ambition, mm-hmm. but whether or not the business itself or the model itself or the market itself is actually venture backable is very challenging often. So do you find you end up turning down some businesses because they aren't the right shape, right fit, aren't in the right direction?
We don't turn them down for the network because we think that all businesses of all kinds have value, and not every person wants to be a venture backable founder. So we work with all kinds of startups. We primarily train ones where we see potential to become venture backable. Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So if you were to think about 3 ventures that you're really proud to have supported, whether at Hive or whether Womankind, which I know is sort of affiliated to some extent, or elsewhere for that matter, what would those 3 ventures be?
I'll give you 3 examples from our recent cohorts. Example number 1 is a company called Phoenix Development, and they are based out of California, and they buy up land that has been burned by forest fires, and they have developed a patented methodology to build profitably on those lands, and they build non-combustible homes within those lands that protect the communities that come after them and the houses themselves. So it's really a way to combat the kind of impacts to society that climate change have. And it's just a really fantastic business. Another business that I'm really passionate about is a company called My Bouncer. They are building an iPhone case, a smart iPhone case that can detect drink spiking drugs within drinks, kind of in situ. So if you be at a club or a bar, you can just put your phone on top of your drink, and then they tell you whether there's any drugs or fentanyl or anything else that's kind of nasty, and also the alcohol content of your beverage, so you can kind of measure and monitor, your consumption. The third business that I'm super passionate about is a business called Cultmia. They are a sustainable fashion marketplace for independent luxury brands. They have an amazing founder, really, really exciting business in the sustainable fashion space, which I think is a really important part of us combating the kind of like effects of overconsumption. So I think for me, the thing that is interesting about different organizations is when there's kind of an intersection between society, sustainability, and kind of ways of doing things that are a little bit different. So those are 3 that I really like, but there's so many.
I mean, those are really awesome. I mean, like my bouncer, just as you're saying, I was just like, the societal benefit of of technology like that. Even if you actually extrapolate away just from the obvious use case of obviously date rape or anything like that, but even just for like your average Joe that wants to track his or her consumption and make sure that they're kind of not overdoing it or whatever, like that's
super useful. And it also
awesome.
Could be used for allergies in foods and drinks, so there's just so many applications where this really existing technology that's like lab quality can be used for consumers. So I really love it.
Yeah, incredible. Andrea, look, thank you very much. That's awesome. I hope that gives our listeners a bit of a taster for about who you are and what you're about, and really look forward to discussing a lot of this in